Now, what's the smallest aircraft that you've ever flown on commercially? A 737? A Dash 8 maybe? Maybe a Twin Otter? Well, today I'm going to be flying on one that's even smaller than that. There's an airline called Cape Air here in the States, and they fly these little Cessna 402s, all little public service routes all around the country. These public service routes connect tiny communities in the middle of nowhere with the bigger cities around them. Today I'm going to be taking them on a Cessna 402, which is a 9-seater general aviation plane, really, on a flight from here in St. Louis up to Chicago with a stopover in Quincy, Illinois, which is a little town in the middle of nowhere, I think. No idea. But we're going to find out where it is and have a flight with Cape Air today on the Cessna 402. So let's head inside and check them out. My flight today would take me first to the farming town of Quincy, Illinois. From there it'd be a 90-minute ride over the Prairie State to Chicago O'Hare. First though, I headed to the single check-in counter that Cape Air use here at St. Louis. Hello, checking in for Chicago, please.
Where you going?
Chicago.
You're in the bag with you or you checking it in?
Can I check it in? Is that alright? Thank you. Save me getting everything out of security, won't it, you know?
Security, I'll check it in too. This one is the first. This is Quincy to Chicago.
Perfect, thank you.
And then this one here is St. Louis to Quincy.
Lovely, thank you very much.
There you go.
And that as well. Thanks so much, and have a good day.
So Chicago is your final?
Yeah, it is, yeah, but then I've got to self-connect over to United, but yeah.
Okay.
All right.
All right, Heaven, you know where to go?
I know where to go, I'll find it, yeah.
Well, anyways, down the escalator, when you get to the bottom,
perfect.
the escalator, just keep walking straight. Security is right in front of you.
Perfect.
Okay?
Thank you so much.
And C7 is your gate.
Awesome.
Have
Thanks a lot.
weekend.
Thanks a lot, you too. Bye-bye. Right, so all checked in and ready to go to Quincy. And onwards to Chicago. I don't think they get many people going all the way through to Chicago. She was a bit confused when there's like an hour-long direct flight. Several times an hour why I'd want to take a 2.5-hour odd connection on the little turboprop through Quincy, of all places. But I've got both my boarding passes now, as far as Quincy and then on to Chicago. So let's go and try and find where we need to be. The workhorse of Cape Air's fleet is the Cessna 402, of which Cape Air operate 88. They've also just started taking delivery of brand new Tecnam P2012s that'll be replacing the Cessna 402s in the future. The Cessna 402 seats just 9 passengers and we were almost full today. We headed down to the ramp in the lift before heading out to the aircraft.
Thank you. You're welcome. Do you need your name tag? Name tag? Okay, everyone, may I get your names, please? Are you Noel?
Soon it was time to board and I climbed into the tiny Cessna.
Yes.
Thank you. Just a quick reminder for you guys, if you enjoy this video, please hit that subscribe button to enjoy more videos like this every week.
Make sure your seatbelt is buckled and secured. No smoking. Should be about a 45-minute flight back to Quincy. If you have any questions, you can ask me. Otherwise, there's briefing cards in the seat back pocket.
Safety briefing complete, we fired up the engines and taxied out to runway 30 left at St. Louis. Our first leg today took us northwest out of St. Louis on a direct path to Quincy. Flight time today was 38 minutes at a cruising altitude of 4,500 feet. We headed north following the course of the mighty Mississippi along the Illinois-Missouri border. The ride was pretty cramped and bumpy as we crossed the plains of eastern Illinois. Cape Air operates in two key markets. From Boston, they serve communities all around the Cape Cod area with Cessna 402s, and in the Midwest they operate a number of public service routes through Missouri, Illinois, Kentucky and Tennessee. Pretty soon the engines throttled back and we commenced our descent over remote farmland into the tiny town of Quincy. Thanks to the tiny aircraft, everyone gets a great view of landing through the flight deck windows. Once on stand, we all had to disembark as the aircraft was fueled for the flight to Chicago.
And who's going on to Chicago? Do you have your boarding passes? You want to just wait here, miss? Just wait here until everything's
Quincy
done.
Regional Airport, also known as Baldwin Field, has just two routes, both of which I'm flying today with Cape Air.
Okay, so now do you have any reason to go through screening again?
No.
Okay, then stay
No, I can
with
wait.
me.
Okay.
Stay right here by the door here while I take these people in. Okay, anybody else going to Chicago?
Quincy sees an average of just 300 passengers a month, or 10 a day. Cape Air operate to Quincy as part of the Essential Air Service programme, which is subsidised by the government to connect these remote communities. In 1996, Quincy was the scene of a major air disaster when a United flight from Chicago collided with a King Air on landing, sadly killing all 12 on the United flight and both of them on board the King Air.
And I'll do it once again. I just want to make sure everybody's here. Kenneth, you're there, and Betty. Okay, not yet. We're going to wait till our fuel man is done. Okay, and then Noel.
Yeah.
Okay. We have assigned seating. So row 2, we're going to have Daniel and Kenneth. So Daniel and Kenneth, you're row 2, which is right behind the pilot and co-pilot. That's where I want to be. Okay. Row 3, we have Betty and Noel.
Yeah.
Betty? Okay, so you're row 3. Okay?
I need to talk to you about protection. Antivirus protection, that is. Remember when you bought your first PC? One of the first things you did was to install the antivirus. These days, it's easy to think that the threats aren't there anymore. You might not end up with a screen full of toolbars anymore, but the threats are really still there, and a good antivirus software is more important than ever. Most viruses these days appear in the form of malware or spyware, where clicking a link may appear to do nothing, but in reality a hacker will be sat on a computer somewhere and be getting sent all of your passwords and card information in real time. In 2018, hackers stole 500 million personal records. This is where Total AV comes in. Total AV protects your devices, whether it's a computer, laptop or smartphone. It offers real-time protection against malware, ransomware, spyware and phishing attacks. They have a cutting-edge algorithm that can detect and remove any viruses, adware, malware or spyware, keeping you and your device protected against all online dangers. Total AV are offering you their peace of mind for just $29.99 for an entire year of Total AV Pro. This works out to just $2.49 a month and comes complete with a 30-day money-back guarantee if you're not happy with it. Cape Air have served Quincy for many years, but stopped flights to Quincy in 2017 before resuming them again recently. So what happened in the meantime? Did they have no service at all out here?
Yeah, they serviced it here, but SkyWest serviced
okay.
it. Only to Chicago. They had
Right, okay.
one or two flights a day to Chicago on a bigger plane.
Yeah.
But this way you've got
Yeah.
but
That's
this way
fun,
you've
though.
got your options to either St. Louis or Chicago. And
It
you've
don't
got
make a difference. You get there and you taxi for a half an hour.
Yeah.
Well, I went to Chicago 3 times on Southwest, and I only got to fly back once because planes got canceled at night.
On the whole, people seem glad to have Cape Air back operating the Cessna 402.
Until everybody's out. Okay, everybody remember their rows?
Uh-huh.
Yep. All the way up front there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome aboard, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Couple quick things before we get started. There's 3 exits on board. There's one you guys just came through. There's one over the right wing. There's one to the left. You all have life jackets underneath the front of each one of your seats.
Believe it or not, there's no Russian Air Force base here at Quincy. These MiGs are just a few of over 30 owned by a local businessman as his own private air force, and based here at Baldwin Field. Soon it was time to line up and begin the flight across Illinois to Chicago. The flight to Chicago today took us northwest towards Peoria, Illinois, before approaching O'Hare from the west. Flight time today was 1 hour and 29 minutes at a cruising altitude of 7,500 feet. As we closed in on Chicago, the first signs of civilization appeared, starting with an American Airlines 787 joining us on the approach to Chicago. We started our approach into one of the world's busiest airports. We were arriving today on runway 10 right, the most southerly of all the runways. Touched down, but still had a taxi of over 6 miles to our stand. This took another 20 minutes to cover, but did give us some great views of the action here at Chicago. The elderly lady on the flight nailed it when she said taxiing around O'Hare in a Cessna, you feel like a mosquito among eagles. My flight across the Midwest cost me £77 or $96 for a flight of 315 miles, giving a cost per mile of 25 pence. This has got to be one of the cheapest ways in the world to get a flight on a Cessna 402, and to get to see small airports like Quincy on top of that was a great bonus.
Hi.
After you.
No, go ahead.
Oh, thank you.
If I was having trouble with short legs, I can't imagine what you're having.
Thank you. Cheers. The question is, would you take this flight on the Cessna 402, or would you prefer a direct flight on an American 737? Let me know down in the comments. There was quite a walk before I arrived back in the familiar monotony of an American airport departure lounge. So that was pretty cool, landing here at one of the busiest airports in the world, Chicago O'Hare, on a little Cessna. That was pretty cool, wasn't it? Let me know what you thought of that video down in the comments below. Would you fly on a little tiny plane like that? Or would you rather take the mainline route and actually get here about half the time and probably in a lot more comfort? Let me know down in the comments below. In the meantime, as always, thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you next time.